There are some, it's called an associate scout. They're unpaid. The idea is that they just do it for the absolute love of it, just the love of it. And usually they may be a high school coach or somebody that used to be in the game, so they have time. They just like to be at the ballpark, and they just kind of they pass that information on to the next level of scout. The dangerous thing is that sometimes these guys, unfortunately, pass themselves off as more legitimate. They treat it as like they have something to say, and they use it for selfish means. Not all of them, probably, but there's a percentage. It's something to look out for.
So those associate scouts, they're not on the payroll
No.
necessarily of the MLB organization. Some kind of compensation if you guys end up drafting somebody that makes it someday or something like that.
Well, the contract is, if they initiate the idea, if they bring us a player, or to give the area scout a player that the player does not know of,
Okay.
never heard of, so he's the genesis of that player, then the contract stipulates that when this guy gets a high A or A level play, he gets one little bonus, double A, triple A in the big leagues. He gets, it's not a lot of money, but I don't think that's the reason they do it. They do it for, hopefully for the love and, to help kids out. Really.
Sure. So the next level is the area scout, and they are on payroll?
Area scout is a full-time job. I mean, that's what he does. It's like any other position, and he's responsible for a demographic of the country, not a demographic, but a geographic part of the country. Like our scout in Pacific Northwest has, he's got Alaska, Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. It's just a huge area. Where Northern California has one guy. There's usually 2 to 3 scouts in the Southern California area. Maybe 4 corners like Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, that's one guy. So, and that you can just kind of extrapolate that around the country, and that's how you divvy up areas.
Sure. Okay, so we have the area which is actually on the payroll and is part of the team, and I assume plays a role in the draft and evaluate or recommending players for evaluation.
Well, in my opinion, I don't know, a lot of my peers would agree with this, but I think they're the most important guy because they're the grassroots. They're the ones that know it from the beginning. When they get into a minor league system, our player development, our coaching staff, they know them. They've been around the player more in 1 week than we've been around them in the last 3 or 4 years, but we knew them when.
Sure.
We knew them when they weren't famous. We knew them, when it was just such an honor to meet one of us and just to be, from the flattery process to the oh boy process to the maybe I am a guy process. And believe it or not, just knowing the start of that is it's amazing and it's helpful. And there's a trust that blossoms from that guy. In fact, the player gets to the major league level, he remembers that area scout more than anybody else he met along the way. It's vital. The area guy, the area guy is integral.
So what's above the area?
It's a cross-check group.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yep.
And cross-checkers, we're kind of the second line. Typically we have more experience, hopefully maybe a level of performance over time, and we can just kind of impart. We have to go. We go to these regions and we kind of put these players in our order. So they're getting to know the whole player. We're kind of getting to know the skill set of this player. We're kind of getting it down to the meat. Can he hit? Can he run? Can he throw? Does he have any power? And then we double up with the area guy and we find out what kind of kid this is, and as we watch him, we see if that kind of thing match up.
No, fantastic. And above the cross-checker?
Is a scouting director.
Okay.
And the director is he oversees the entire department. It's an incredibly tough job. He's responsible for the top couple picks. He's responsible for them all, but he'll be judged on those top couple picks. So his focus is really where the money's being spent. The top couple picks in the draft that will hopefully impact the organization. The rest of it, he's got to leave to the rest of us.
Sure.
He's got to have that trust and believe that the people underneath him will, I call it like providing an insurance policy for what we did at the top. I mean, at every draft, we're drafting 40 guys. I mean, if we have 3 guys make it to the big leagues, it's a pretty good draft.
Sure.
So, hopefully a lot more than that. But
And so above the scouting director then?
then you have your front office type.
So you start getting into general administration in
Well, you get into the special assistants, the assistant GM, and then there's the general manager, and then there's the president of the club and the ownership.